cue you by just saying, before that comes, okay? And so this song, I thought it was perfect for New Year's Day. The title is Beauty Surrounds Us, and it's based on words from John Muir. So, Beauty Surrounds Us. And at the very end, we'll come in with that melody with some very simple words, and you'll catch those words very easily.
person. That Joseph Civic person. On a full-time basis, he is our music director. But today is New Year's Day. So not only did he show up, he wrote a new song. Probably more than one. I see that grin on his face. And so I think that we have our own national treasure. What do you think? Yes. Well, now. I'm very excited. So what else is new? I'm very excited to tell you that this is my very first New Year's Day service. Nobody run out of the room, but I'd like to hear a little something. So the reason that I'm making a deal of that is because, you know, we all know that Christmas and New Year's Day only fall on Sunday, what, 1 out of every 7 years? Is that right? Or 1 out of every 6? Anyway, and before I was the senior minister here, the ministers that I served as associate minister, they did not want to be out on Christmas Day or on New Year's. So it's not like they assigned it to somebody else. They said, no, we're not doing a service that day. So when it came to be my turn, I said, oh, yes, we are.
Yes, yes.
And if one person comes or 30 people come, I don't care. I mean, it's not that I don't care. It's just that it's about all of us. And it's about showing up. And it's about offering what we have to offer to each other at every given opportunity. Since there are a couple of people here who legitimately have no idea who this person is that's carrying on already, I'm Rev Ann Rea, and I have the privilege, the over-the-moon, fabulous opportunity to serve with and for and as the senior minister of the Everyday Center. And you know, it occurs to me that every senior minister could say that. Right? No, they couldn't. Because every day is anything but every day. We are the most committed, the most excited, the most gracious, the most loving, the most engaged community that I have ever had the privilege of being in, let alone serving as their senior minister. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a ride, which I'm known to do from time to time. So every year, usually in the shower on Sunday morning, I get a knowing, a clarity about what our theme is going to be for the year. And yes, the Centers for Spiritual Living does offer a standard format for that, where they lay out the whole year for you and all of the Sundays and the readings and all of that stuff. And it's really good and it's really interesting, but somehow that is not what I'm supposed to do. So what I'm supposed to do this year, what I have been asked to do or assigned to do this year, is to talk about avenues of good. Because we tend to think about our avenues of good as being the job we have, or our inheritance, or our savings, or our Social Security. And those are all avenues of good. That's absolutely correct. And it's not the source. None of it is the source. So that's why it's important. It's important that we honor both. That we honor the avenues that show up, and it could be a $1,000 bill on the sidewalk, and that we honor this dazzlingly creative source that just keeps providing in lots of different ways. It isn't always money. It can be an unexpected friendship. It can be someone doing a kindness, even us, doing a kindness out of the blue for somebody else. There actually is no end to the avenues through which we are graced with this provision. And to learn to look at these avenues for what they are. To look at these avenues and be able to see all that had to happen for that to happen. It's fun. You guys aren't having much fun this morning, but it's fun. I'm having fun.
Yep.
So, okay, so then we have the theme for the year, and then we have the theme for every month, and then we have something going on every week. And somehow they're all related. Or at least that's what they're supposed to be. But it can be a little interesting sometimes, can't it, Patty? I don't know. All of this information just drops in. So today we're talking about unfixed income. Actually, we're talking about that the whole month. Because there's so much conversation about fixed income.
Right.
Regardless of where it's coming from. There is so much conversation about fixed income. And anyone who listened to the talk from last week will remember that I went out on a limb, great big fat limb, so it would hold this statement that there is no such thing as fixed income.
Yes.
There is an idea about fixed income. Actually, many ideas about fixed income, and they're all made up. Really, Bren? They're all made up. start with us. So you can all take a great big deep breath and say, okay, so it's not my fault. But the truth is, they didn't start with us. They started long before us. Because if there was a certain amount, I mean, it makes sense, right? If there's a certain amount of money coming in, regardless of from where, and it is the same every week or every month, it seems to me, as I'm sure it does to you, that makes it fixed. Makes sense. Of course it makes sense. The thing is that once we start to think about something in a certain way, it has no choice but to go there. It has no choice but to take on that mantle, that outfit, that way of being. Because we are the ones who are establishing the outline. Ernest Holmes refers to it as a mold. We provide the mold with our thoughts and our beliefs, and the universe fills it just the way that it is when we imagine it. The good news is, because there is some, the good news is that it works both ways. So if we provide a mold that includes anything but fixed income that comes from everywhere, provision that comes from everywhere, where we always feel and know that we are assured of having plenty of plenty. That we are assured of not only having plenty of plenty for ourselves, but we're assured of having plenty of plenty to share. All that is a different idea. Really. That's all that is a different idea. So whatever ideas that we have about how our income is now, we always have the opportunity to change our other mind. See it differently. Call it something else. Call it Harold. It won't care. We are making it up anyway. So why not have fun? Why not see how many ways we can look around us, in the room, outside of the room, and see plenty? I bet I can see more weeds than you can.
I'll take care of them
And crows and trees and all kinds of growing things and rocks, but it's not money, right? It's not spendable. So what are you talking about? If I can't spend it, it doesn't count. Really? Really? If you can't spend it, it doesn't count. How about if it supports your life?
Right.
How about if it supports your happiness? How about if it provides what you need when you need it every time? What then? What then? So we're still not to the talk title for today. Today's talk title is unlimited. That's what. That's what. That's what we keep missing. Some of us. Not all of us. Maybe nobody in this room, but we know people who miss it. That when whoever we're quoting, whomever we're quoting, whether it's Ernest Holmes or Wayne Dyer or the Bible or Jesus the Christ or whomever we're quoting, Stephen says our resources are unlimited. How do we talk with, how do we converse with, how do we hold space with the people who want to tell us the opposite? Because limited resources are a big deal, right? Not only right now, but are a big deal. That there's, you know, if we keep up such and such, that we won't have enough, or our children won't have enough, or their children won't have enough. Is there truth to some of what is being said?
Only if they believe it.
Anybody hear what Patty said? Of course.
Say it again.
But you're also afraid that I'm going to say, no, there's not. That you aren't saying anything. Patty said, oh, you better believe it.
No, I said only if you believe it. Only if you believe it. It's not, it's
Oh.
only if you believe it.
I heard the, oh, you better believe it. Because that's what everybody else was thinking. And it crept up here like a tsunami and went, so what Patty said is only if you believe it. But what do we do about all this evidence? What do we do about all the evidence? Do you know that that's the only reason we believe anything? Is evidence. That's the only reason we believe anything. Is because we see or hear, thank you, social media, what in the moment we accept, see, hear, accept the truth. But that's also a decision. Okay, here's another one for you. I'm only one person, so what can I do to make a difference? I'm just gonna keep on doing what I've always done and not care that I will always have what I've always had. Did y'all catch that? A friend of ours knows that the truth is, both of us, but Denise has the reputation for it, is very serious about limiting our waste in the house, anything that we use, as much as possible. And she gave, for Christmas, she gave Denise a book about how to get to almost zero waste. You have never seen anybody so excited in your life. Now, the reason that I mention that is because obviously somebody has a different idea. That you actually can get to almost zero waste. And the book is this big. You would think it would be this big. It's this big. And not only is there an author that has a different idea, there is someone who is going to read the book who finds that possibility interesting. Because that's something anybody can do. You know, so often we stop ourselves from taking that step forward, with whatever it is, because we're convinced that it won't make any difference. We're making that up too. Boy, are we creative. So now that I've proposed to you that there's no such thing as a fixed income, that we have unlimited resources. How many of you have by any chance seen the film Fantastic Fun Guy? Boy, this is a time when I wish we had a projector and a big screen. Because it would change your mind about resources and about what is happening all the time, everywhere, underground, above the ground, just nature itself doing its thing. Really, no interference, no magic fertilizer. I didn't say no fertilizer. I said no magic fertilizer, although this is pretty magic.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you can somehow see the film, I think it's available on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Even if you've seen it before, it's worth seeing again just for this purpose. Just to see what in the world I'm talking about when I say that our resources are unlimited. We just haven't figured out how to maximize them yet. And our idea as human beings of maximization isn't always the best. Sometimes we still have to learn. And about learning, we always have to be humble. So I appreciate your ride on this beginning with me. As we step into the new year, I guarantee you it is going to be a humdinger. We have, well, I'll speak for myself. I have lots of fun ideas up my sleeve. And you all get to experience them. So for now, just please know with me. I'm not asking you to believe what I believe. Because, really, I'm not. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm asking you to experiment with me and see how plentiful our life is. And how just by having that experience, we can share it with someone else. And they can share it with someone else. And they can share it with someone else. You know what pay it forward means?
Yes.
And people do that. Because it just makes sense. Not because someone taught them to, but because it just makes sense. A week, I'm asking. A week of dedication to first acknowledging the plentiful life and world you occupy. And then find a place to give some of it away. Your love, your kindness, your generosity, in whatever form, find a place and a person, or an animal, or a plant. Find a way to give some of it away. I invite you to know with me that the generosity of this life that we live, this one life that is all life, always has been, always will be, and lives fully every day right now, in and through and as us and all of its creation. Its plenty knows no bounds. So be boundless. And so it is.
And so it is.